Good morning, Falcons fans. My name is Patrick Seals, and welcome to a September edition of How Disappointing Were the Atlanta Falcons this month. And today, I'm going to review all the disappointment for the Atlanta Falcons for the month of September. Yes, right. Today is the last day of September. The Falcons will not play another game until October gets here, the favorite time of the year. But before that gets here, let's review September. So what I did was I went around the Atlanta Falcon Nation and I surveyed how people are feeling right now. And let's start off with the most disappointing plays. Jeff from Hezbollah said, Matt Ryan threw to Ridley that was 8 yards behind him. That was his most disappointing play of the year. Matt Ryan throwing the ball 8 yards behind Calvin Ridley. Jacob Berry from Stockbridge said, Devontae Smith mossing one of our DBs for a touchdown. Jacob's talking about the first game of the season against the Eagles. Devontae Smith caught his first touchdown pass against the Atlanta Falcons. That was his most disappointing play so far. Anthony Driver from Atlanta said, Matt Ryan throwing two pick sixes. Anthony Driver's talking about Matt Ryan's back-to-back game-breaking pick sixes against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tampa Bay, efficiently losing us the game. That was his most disappointing play of the year so far. Uncle Mike Myra from Grovetown said, drafting a tight end with our 4th pick overall. That was his most disappointing play of the year, not drafting a defensive player when we so desperately needed, considering all of our first-round defensive picks are no longer with us for the most part. All of them going off to different teams or out of the league completely. Takk McKinley, Vic Beasley, Keanu Neal, and so forth. All of those players are no longer with us, and Uncle Mike is disappointed that the Atlanta Falcons picked Kyle Pitts with their 4th pick overall instead of a defensive player, suggesting that we so desperately need a defensive player. Sammy Berry from Stockbridge said, Matt's picks at the end of the Bucks game. He's again referencing the picks that Matt Ryan threw against the Buccaneers that cost us the game. And as mentioned before, it seems like it's a bit of a trend out here. Mostly everybody's disappointing picks are regarding Matt Ryan's play on the play field. It's other defensive plays that are disappointing, not getting a defensive player or our defense just performing badly. But overall, Matt Ryan is basically the average. He's in average defensive disappointing plays. Matt Ryan, okay. The most disappointing player of September so far. I asked people who they thought was the most disappointing player of September so far, and Jeff from Hezbollah said Matt Ryan, which is not a surprise to me because he is quick to mention to me that Matt Ryan's, all his yards mostly come from yak. That's right. All of his passing yards mostly come from his wide receivers and running backs making extraordinarily good plays after they catch the ball 2-3 yards behind the line of scrimmage and they go out for a touchdown, including this year with Cordell Patterson, able to score multiple touchdowns and being able to evade tacklers. Mike Davis doing the same thing. Kyle Pitts getting many yards after the catch this season so far. So Jeff is deciding to say that Matt Ryan, mostly of your yards come from yak, and you are his most disappointing player of September so far. DC Collier from Stockbridge said Mike Davis, Calvin Ridley, and the O-line. Now, I've been highly favor of Cordell Patterson starting in our running back field over Mike Davis because Mike Davis is not cutting it for us so far. He's averaging less than 1.1 yards a carry, and that's not good for us, man. You know what I mean? Cordell Patterson give us the best option to move the ball downfield. Calvin Ridley, he hasn't had a 100-yard game yet so far. All his games have been wildly underwhelming. He didn't have a touchdown pass last game, and he hasn't went over 100 yards receiving in any game so far. And of course, the offensive line is atrocious, is getting multiple sacks per game. It is atrociously bad, and those are DC Collier's most disappointing players of September. Now, Ace Cole from Atlanta said Matt Ryan turned into some mid-type beat. So here we are again with Matt Ryan being somebody's most disappointing player of September so far. Oh, hold on, wait. My most disappointing play of September, it has to be the interception coming out of the half against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because I was in communication with one of my cousins named Carter. We was talking. He was saying that we had a chance to win coming out the half because the score was 21-10, and we was getting the ball back to start the half off. And I told him that it's all going to depend on the next drive. And just as the play started, the drive started, we ran the ball, we got 5 yards. Then the second play, Matt Ryan throws a pick, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go down and score a touchdown, and we are behind 28-10. So that's my most disappointing play, is Matt Ryan throwing a pick, and this is probably going to be a trend. Okay, so like I was saying, Jacob Brunson from Stockbridge said his most disappointing player of September is Matt Ryan. His accuracy is off this year, and he's yet to complete a pass 20 yards down the field. And Curtis Woods from Stockbridge said Matt Ryan can't even throw 20 plus yards. Big Walt from Atlanta said Matt not throwing past 50 yards. So the trend for the most disappointing player of September so far is Matt Ryan, and I'm going to continue that trend because he, like everybody's saying, he's not been able to complete a pass past 20 yards, 12 yards. All his catches are yak yards. All his wide receivers, running backs, they're making extraordinary good plays after the fact to get better downfield. Matt Ryan's playing like a JV quarterback. Matt Ryan is playing the same way I played when I tried to try for a quarterback my senior year of high school. Matt Ryan's he's playing worse than I did that year, man. And the coaches immediately, position change. Matt Ryan, you are the most disappointing player of September, man. I can do better. Your stats read for the month of September, Matt Ryan. You have 83 completions, 117 attempts, and you are 70.9% accurate on your throws, Matt Ryan. You have 707 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and 7 sacks, Matt Ryan. And I feel like most of your sacks are from you holding on to the ball too long, man. I don't know if you're scared. Somebody glued the football to your hand. I don't know what it is, but you were holding on to the ball entirely too long, getting sacks. The cornerbacks are covering the wide receivers forever. Nobody's able to get open. And all your throws are just 2-3 yards down the field, barely 10 yards, maybe even 13 at the most, Matt Ryan. You are the most disappointing player for me for the month of September, Matt Ryan. All right, let's talk about the games, man. The most disappointing game so far, Anthony Driver said the game from Philly, and Jeff from Hesselfoot said the game from Philly as well. And I have to go with the game from Philly as well, because the first game of the season, I had tickets, I was there, I got to see the Falcons play live, and they did not score a touchdown. They allowed the Eagles to come into our house and trounce us. We only scored 6 points. Younghoe Koo has been the MVP of the season so far. Matt Ryan, you started the season off terribly, and you continued that trend all out through the month of September, but it all started in the game against the Philadelphia Eagles, where the offensive line wasn't blocking. You were holding on to the ball for entirely too long. No wide receivers are able to get open. We did not even involve Kyle Pitts into the game plan. We had a very pedestrian game against the Eagles. We haven't been back home since then. And we finally go back against the Washington football team this Sunday. But it all started with the Eagles game. And that has to be the worst game we play all season. I hope we don't even make it past the 50-yard line in the second half of the game. That is terrible. I play way better on Madden against online players all the time. I've seen Cousins do better than that. The Atlanta Falcons have been quite disappointing this year. The offense had 260 yards against the Eagles. They were 3-14 on third down conversions, and they only scored 6 points. the Atlanta Falcons. I hope you get it together. But let's put some positivity in this real quick. Because my most impressive game was, of course, against the New York Giants. Because we won. Our defense only allowed the Giants to score 14 points. And we was able to drive the ball and win the game. We was able to put ourselves in position to win that game. And we did that. Now, the MVP of September is easily Younghoe Koo, because he has not missed a kick at all this season so far. He's made every extra point, every field goal, right down the middle. Every time he gets the chance to give us the game like he did against the Giants, he's able to do that, and he is easily my MVP of September. Now, the best play of September, it would have to be the strip sack on Tom Brady. The strip sack on Tom Brady is my most impressive play of September, because I love when we are able to make Tom Brady look human. When he gets put in the ground, that's a very, very good play. When Tom Brady is in the dirt and he's feeling humiliated a little bit. Because it came from Dante Fowler Jr., it means a little bit more, because the person, I remember Jacob Berry saying that he was going to be his most disappointing player for that game. And he ended up getting a strip sack on Tom Brady, preventing them from scoring a touchdown. Granted, the offense wasn't able to do anything with the ball once the defense gave it to him, but the play still exists. Now, here we are going into the month of October, being 1-2, when I predicted us being 2-1. We play the Washington football team coming up. I will be making predictions about that game, because I think that team looks like a college team. I don't like their initials, WFT. They need to get a logo fast. They're the only team in the NFL who doesn't have a mascot or a logo. You're not even a football team. You're not. You don't even have a logo. You're just a team, an organization. You're a ball club. You might as well play soccer. Yeah, you're a soccer organization. You're not a football team. You're a soccer organization. And I don't have nothing against soccer, but soccer teams don't play in the NFL. Washington football team. Get a real mascot. And don't let it be racist neither. Get a real mascot. Don't name them after somebody's skin color. Washington football team. I just went in on the Washington football team for 5 seconds. But it's cool though. It's cool. I will be making predictions on that game tomorrow. My name is Patrick Seals. Y'all can subscribe, like, share, follow, comment. Shouts out to Ace Code for the music. Y'all buy my merch. Y'all can buy my merch in the link. I will put the link in the bio, in the description of this video. Y'all subscribe, do all that stuff. I'm Patrick Seals. Atlanta Falcons, rise up. Peace.